back to less lethal contingencies. We had such success yesterday shooting the X-68 Punisher tethered to 800 to a 48 CI 3000 capacity tank with a regulated output of 800 PSI that I figured why not give it a try on the IntruBuster Generation 2. So we are tethered through the Vulcan cost stock, the expansion stock. I think you remember seeing this on the episode of Experimental Zone we had last week, where we were playing around with a direct bottle tank connection of 800 PSI. I think it was 800. So today we're going to try, we have removed the GOG on and off switch, which was probably causing some restriction. And we have the car stock, expansion stock, directly connected to the short Home Defense 24 ASA, the tuning chamber ASA model. And we have our slide check. We have our 800 PSI output high pressure air tank. So we're going to give that a try today. I have a magazine loaded of, let's see, AR Tactical Joules, the 10-gram variety here. So we got some heavies, 10-gram AR Tactical Joules. Excuse me, allergies. And these weigh in about approximately around 9.9 grams. So we'll go ahead and we'll shoot off 6 of these, a magazine, and we'll see what we get for feet per second. Tethered. All right. Off camera, I had already aired up the system, make sure there was no leaks. So we should be good to go here. We'll go ahead and air this up again. And let me just double check it. It's not loaded. All right, so we're aired up. Okay, everything sounds quiet, so sounds good. Put my other air plug in and we'll shoot off some 10 gram. We'll see what we get for feet per second now, not having any restriction at all in here. And if we have any problems, auto fire or anything like that develops, I should be able to quickly turn it off by taking the slide check and sliding it down or off. So the laser going. Let's see if I can set that motion light off. Nope. I guess it'll come back on. There we go, when it wants to. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Indeed, I have 6 of the 10 gram in here. Okay, we are live, 10 gram, 800 PSI. And let's just step back a little bit. Okay. Here we go, mag 1, shot 1. Cronny set the feet per second. I'll just be calling out the feet per second. Shot 1. 361.6. I did feel a little bit of an auto fire with that. That's a lot of volume on there. I'm going to degas it, and I'm going to put something in line with the car stock to hopefully add a little restriction. We'll see if that clears up the auto fire. Okay. Looks like we're degassed. Let me pull this off. I anticipated that with this additional volume that we could have, I mean, this is a lot of volume, that there was a possibility that we could have an auto fire, since I did experience an auto fire using it with the last configuration I had for my X-68. So what I'm going to do is I wanted to see first if I had it. If I didn't have it, then we would have been good to go. But since I get it now, I'm going to add a little restriction into the circuit. So I'm going to take these off for a minute. So I'm going to add some restriction. There's a couple different methods that guys like to do. You can put an O-ring in there and block off some of the air traffic, some of the inrush of air that causes the auto fire. Sometimes guys have success with going a stiffer bolt spring. I have yet to have success with that, but I did get another bolt spring in the mail recently that I may be trying out as well to see if that could resolve it. It's a 50 millimeter spring, 50 millimeter long, but it's using the 2 millimeter wire size. And of course the OD is the same OD, 22 millimeter OD. So I may be trying that at some point, but I want to see and test and see if adding some restrictions is going to resolve this for us. So we were degassed. Let me unload it, since at some point we're going to need to do that anyways. Okay. Put that down over here for now. I shot 1 round in there, so I think it's in the target trap. But we got 5 rounds left in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rounds. All right, so I have this this tank extender, okay, that has a bunch of little holes in it, little valve. You can see light right through it, so it's not completely restrictive, but it should suffice to slow down some of that airflow, at least some of that velocity coming out of that expansion chamber in the car stock. So we're going to try that out, and we'll see if that resolves a little auto fire that I just got. And let's unscrew this car stock. Bear with me, guys. This is a work in progress. All right. Matter of fact, we might just put this one into the experimental zone playlist as well, since we are kind of experimenting here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add this tank extender with the sole purpose of introducing some restriction. Okay, not a lot, hopefully, but some restriction to the flow to slow down the flow. So we're screwing that into the short, the HD 24 short ASA, tuning ASA. And it's going to probably throw off my cocking of the, clocking, I should say, clocking of the car stock. So I may have to adjust that with my Allen key. I have that with me. Again, I was kind of expecting this to happen. Yeah, sure enough. So bear with me while I loosen these up and get this where I need it to be for comfort here. Nice thing about this is with this car stock, it's got these set screws. Good job, Alan. Got my butterfingers here. Got 4 set screws. You can just loosen them up a little bit. Don't have to take them all the way out, just loosen them up. And then you can clock the stock to where you want it. All right, there we go. As I drop it again. Okay. And we got a clump of something on there. There's always some kind of dog fur or something on this basement floor. All right, so we got it clocked where we want it right here. We're just going to tighten it back down. Again, the goal here is to add a little bit of flow restriction, a restriction to the flow. we'll still have the use of the benefit of the additional volume, but we don't want auto fire. So with any luck, that'll be enough restriction to stop the auto fire. If it's not enough, then we'll have to think of something else. But I'm really hoping this does the trick. Because I really don't want to put, I mean, I could put that gauge on and off back in the circuit on it, but I felt like that added too much restriction. So there's kind of a fine line or a happy medium that I'm shooting for here. I don't want to introduce too much restriction and lose the benefit of having it in circuit either. So, all right, that feels pretty good. I think we're good right there. Tighten that one back up a little bit. All right. We're going to try that out. And whoop. Sit right there. This thing is way too loud to shoot without ear protection. First time I shot this without ear protection, my ears were ringing really bad. And I don't want to keep doing that. I mean, some of these guns, they're not that loud. But this one, and I know I bring it up all the time, but every day I have new viewers that are watching the channel, so, and may not be familiar with the IntruBuster Generation 2 or how loud it can be. So for all you guys that are aware of it, you can humor me for now. All right, so we introduced the tank and a tank extension piece with the goal of adding some restriction. So let's see if that did the trick. I never turned the bottle off, so we still have air there. One thing I noticed with these slide checks the other day, something all over my fingers. One thing I noticed is that if you have this line aired up and the slide check's in the off position, and you go to pull back on the quick connect, right, the 8mm quick connect, and you go to actually push it on, it's really easy. These slide checks are super easy to slide back and forth. So you got to be careful because they want to, you know, it's easy enough to turn that check on before you even got this connected fully. So you got to kind of watch where your fingers are with these. All right. We're good there. All right, so we're going to go ahead and turn the slide check on now. We'll air it up, and we'll keep our fingers crossed that that's enough restriction to help with the auto fire. Here we go. We'll air it up. All right, I'm not hearing any leaks anywhere, so far so good. So let's go ahead and turn the laser back on. Now I only shot one round out of that 6-round mag. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I got 5 left. Okay, 5 rounds left. So let's see what we get now. See if that resolves the auto fire for us. Okay, so this will be technically shot 2. 351.3 feet per second. Back up a little bit. So far, so good. So this will be shot 3. 352.5 feet per second. 352.5. I don't know why I keep saying 5. All right, so that was shot 3. This should be shot 4. 352.6 feet per second. Shot 5. 352 feet per second. And the last one, shot 6. 356.4 feet per second. And again, that was with the 10-gram AR Tactical Joules. Slide check works good. All right. That was with the 10 grammars. All right. Should have been all 6. Yep. My count was right. That was all 6. All right. So as you can see, that worked out. Okay. I guess it's that easy, as um, Jeff's channel there, Home Defense, Less Lethal Home Defense. He was dealing with auto fire as well with his, was it the TC68, I think? I think it was. I had my share of problems with auto fire with my Pistelli X68. And it had been before adding this tank extension that added some restrictions. So I never fully got a chance to test that out. I kind of lost interest a little bit, and I ended up going with this other line with my my Punisher stock that I built. That we all saw yesterday, the video I did yesterday, which big time success with that stock. That stock was designed just to be a tether stock, just to be something that I could shoot at the range with it. Didn't have the issues with too much expansion because of or auto fire with that. Haven't seen it because all I have is the Home Defense 24 long tuning chamber ASA, and it hasn't auto fired at all with that. However, I used to auto fire when I was using this car stock, which is a bigger expansion chamber in here. I mean, this whole section's expansion. I mean, there's a lot there. But you just seen it. We had auto fire on the first shot. I took it apart. I introduced some restriction via the tank extender rather than using an on and off and turning it, partially and leaving it in there to add restriction, which does work. We've seen that. That worked out great for Jeff. But I wanted to try this because I was hoping this would work, and then it's something that's in there. I can leave it in circuit, and it's not going to be something I got to remember to turn, or maybe I bump it and I get an auto fire and I got to keep tweaking it. I don't want to put something in there that I got to constantly adjust. So this is a win right here. So this is not busted. It's a win. I think I will put this in the experimental zone playlist, by the way, because we are kind of experimenting here today. Okay. So yeah, this is a win for me. Any of you guys experiencing auto fire due to a large inrush of volume of air, and you want that volume to be available, but maybe it's just too much of an inrush for your bolt to be able to handle, the bolt spring to be able to handle, and that's what happens, right? It's just the bolt spring's not strong enough to overcome that massive inrush after it fires, and then until the pressure drops off by using it, it will auto fire, and it just prevents it from catching the sear, coming back fully and catching the sear. That's the short on how that problem, what causes that problem. Again, sometimes you can address it with a stiffer bolt spring. Other times, there's only so much you can do without, because now if you use something too stiff, you could end up losing some performance. I've seen that myself when I was using the 60 millimeter 1.8 millimeter wire size spring that I was experimenting with a few weeks ago on my Pistelli. I noticed I lost like 40% power easy with that spring, so that was a bust. That was busted. So throw that in the garbage. However, the 50 millimeter 1.8 millimeter wire size spring works all day long. Matter of fact, that's what's in my X68 right now, my Pistelli X68. I did actually order a 50 millimeter that's 2 millimeter wire size that I may end up playing around with testing, but that could turn out to be too stiff as well. With the shorter spring and the stiffer, thicker wire size spring material, it seems to be all right. But if you try to run a factory length spring, which is 60 millimeters long, and you go too thick with that wire size, yeah, you're definitely going to lose a lot of performance. At least that's what happened to me. So again, adding this restriction, and this is the factory IntruBuster Gen 2 bolt spring. I have run this gun with my, what I'm calling my tuning spring, my 50 millimeter 1.8 millimeter wire size spring. I have run that in here and had success. It worked fine. It just moved the power numbers down and kind of gave me a couple little bit higher jouled ending shots. Were a little higher jouled, and it kind of not trimmed off the top. I didn't have that big hot shot in the beginning. But do I always want to run it like that? No. Sometimes I want that hot shot in the beginning, right? Especially on CO2 in home defense. Maybe you want that first round to be strong, So needless to say, in here, I have the factory stock spring in here. Got the factory barrel in here, okay? So when we run the numbers on those 6 rounds, keep in mind, that's, again, using 10 gram ammo or 9.9 gram ammo. And that's using the 800 PSI, right, from the larger tank, tethered. And with the short home defense 24 tuning ASA and the additional expansion here. And yeah, it seemed to work out good. We'll see what those numbers bring us, but I've babbled on long enough. So anyways, thank you for watching yet another episode of the Experimental Zone, brought to you by Less Lethal Contingencies. I'm Alan, and thank you for watching. Leave any comments that you like, and have a great weekend. Peace out.